Have you ever wondered how many serial killers are out there? Or how many have never been caught? The truth is, we don't know. But one thing's for sure, there are still dangerous criminals out there who are preying on innocent people. In this video, we're going to explore the cases of 10 of the most notorious serial killers who are still on the loose. Number 1. The Long Island Serial Killer. The Long Island Serial Killer is a haunting, unsolved case that has left a trail of mystery and fear. The story begins near Gilgo Beach on Long Island, where a series of gruesome discoveries unfolded. The first bodies emerged in 1996, sending shockwaves throughout the community. Over the next decade, more victims were found, creating an eerie pattern of violence. It wasn't until 2010 that authorities officially linked these cases to a single, elusive killer. The victims included Megan Waterman, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Amber Lynn Costello, Jessica Taylor, and more. These were women who had often turned to street work, using Craigslist to connect with potential clients. It was a risky profession, and they tragically paid the price. What makes this case even more chilling is the way in which the bodies were found. Each victim was carefully placed in individual burlap sacks, hinting at a meticulous and cold-blooded murderer. The cause of death in all these cases was strangulation, adding a horrifying element to the story. Despite extensive investigations and the release of new evidence, the Long Island serial killer remains at large. The fact that some victims are still unidentified, and the possibility of even more victims yet to be discovered, makes this a deeply unsettling and ongoing mystery. The Long Island serial killer serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk in seemingly peaceful communities, leaving families and authorities desperate for answers that have so far eluded them. The I-70 Killer. The I-70 Killer, a chilling figure believed to have haunted the Midwest in 1992, is a mysterious and unsolved case. This serial criminal targeted store clerks, robbing them of small amounts of cash in what became a deadly crime spree. The first known victim of this serial killer was Robin Foldauer, a manager at Payless Shoe Source. Her life was tragically cut short, setting off a series of similar crimes. All the victims shared a harrowing fate. They were shot in the back of the head, showcasing the killer's ruthless and cold-blooded nature. This killer's reign of terror didn't confine itself to the Midwest. There's a possible connection to shootings in Texas between 1993 and 1994, suggesting a wide range of criminal activity. The choice of victims, mainly women working as store clerks, indicated a chilling pattern. While authorities actively investigated the case, the I-70 killer remained elusive, leaving communities living in fear. A description of the suspect is a white male in his 20s to 30s, tall in stature with lazy eyelids. Despite the efforts to bring this killer to justice, the case remains unsolved, leaving families and communities haunted by the specter of an unidentified and dangerous criminal. The I-70 Killer stands as a grim reminder of the dark side of society, a reminder that some mysteries remain shrouded in shadows, causing untold pain and fear for those left in its wake. West Mesa Bone Collector. This is a haunting enigma that unfolded in New Mexico in 2009, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and shattered lives. This unidentified serial killer is believed to be responsible for the deaths of 11 women. Their remains discovered in a desolate grave in the West Mesa Desert. These women, in life, face difficult and challenging circumstances, often with histories of street work. Their identities were concealed beneath the layers of time and desert sands, but through the power of DNA testing, they were gradually revealed. The victims became more than just a chilling statistic. They had names and stories, and they were loved and missed. The shadow of suspicion fell on several individuals, most notably Joseph Blee and Lorenzo Montoya, both tied to criminal activities and exhibiting unsettling behaviors. Despite the efforts of law enforcement to connect these suspects to the heinous crimes, the West Mesa Bone Collector remains a cold case, unsolved and perplexing. The legacy of this killer continues to haunt the memories of the families and communities affected. It serves as a grim reminder of the unresolved darkness that can lurk beneath society's surface, evading justice and leaving a trail of heartache. The West Mesa Bone Collector is a testament to the tenacity of law enforcement and the unrelenting search for answers, even in the face of an elusive killer. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you never miss any of our videos. The Belize Ripper. The Belize Ripper is a sinister figure whose reign of terror struck fear into the hearts of the residents of Belize City between 1998 and 2000. This unidentified serial killer abducted, assaulted, and tragically took the lives of 5 young girls in Belize City, leaving a community in shock and mourning. What makes this case even more chilling is the belief that the Belize Ripper was not just a typical serial killer, but a commercial one, driven by sinister motives. Victims were plied with alcohol and drugs before falling prey to this ruthless criminal, highlighting the calculated and cruel nature of the attacks. The unrelenting search for justice led to the involvement of international law enforcement agencies like the FBI and Scotland Yard, underscoring the severity of the crimes. Despite the efforts to bring this heinous criminal to justice, no convictions have been made, and the cases remain unsolved. The victims and their families deserve closure, and the community yearns for answers. The shadow of the Belize Ripper still looms large, a reminder that some mysteries remain unsolved and some criminals continue to evade the grasp of the law. The Belize Ripper stands as a harrowing reminder of the darkness that can exist in the world, a chilling chapter in the history of Belize City that continues to haunt those who seek justice for the innocent lives lost. The Chicago Strangler. This is an unsolved and haunting series of deaths that has cast a dark shadow over Chicago since 1999. A grim pattern of women being strangled to death has emerged, leaving a community in fear and turmoil. These victims often met a gruesome end in abandoned buildings, adding an eerie dimension to the crimes. Many of the women had a history of sex work, reflecting the vulnerability they faced. It's a tragic reminder of the risks that some members of society are forced to take to survive. The Chicago Strangler is an unsettling enigma. While many cases remain unsolved, a few have been resolved. The police, however, denied the existence of a single perpetrator, leading to ongoing debate and suspicion within the community. Despite the suspicions of a serial killer lurking in the city's shadows, definitive proof remains elusive, leaving the cases shrouded in mystery and the families of the victims yearning for closure. The Chicago Strangler serves as a disturbing reminder of the dangers that persist in society, with the hope that one day the truth will come to light and justice will be served for those whose lives were cruelly cut short. Sleepy Hollow Killer. This was a sinister figure believed to have terrorized South Africa and is a chilling enigma. This unidentified serial killer is suspected of being responsible for the deaths of at least 13 women, most of whom work the streets around Pietermaritzburg and the Midlands of KwaZulu-Natal. What sets this case apart is the disturbing signature of the killer. Victims were strangled with their own underwear, an act that reflects the cruelty and sadism of the perpetrator. Some of the bodies were discovered along the N3 highway, leading an eerie aspect to the case. Despite ongoing investigations and suspicions, no one has been convicted, leaving the families of the victims without closure.
I mean, Lori missing? Well, she'd expect us to go look for her.
One of the most haunting aspects of the Sleepy Hollow Killer case is the speculation surrounding the motives behind these crimes. While some believe the killer acted out of personal motives, others suggest that this was the work of a commercial killer who disposed of women for money. The Sleepy Hollow Killer case remains a haunting and unsolved mystery, a stark reminder of the dark and elusive nature of some criminals. The victims and their families deserve answers, and the South African community remains on edge, hoping that one day the truth will come to light and justice will be served. The Jeff Davis 8. The Jeff Davis 8, a series of tragic and unresolved crimes in Jefferson Davis Parish, Louisiana, has cast a long shadow over the community. The discovery of 8 women's bodies in swamps and canals between 2005 and 2009 sent shockwaves through the area, leaving a sense of fear and unease that still lingers. What makes this case even more troubling is the myriad of missteps and errors that plague the investigations, including the loss of crucial evidence. These misfortunes have further complicated efforts to find justice for the victims and their grieving families. Multiple suspects have come under scrutiny, including allegations against local authorities. The investigations have faced challenges in connecting these suspects to the crimes, which has made it difficult to ascertain whether a single serial killer was responsible for these deaths. The unsolved deaths of these young women have left a deep wound in the community, and questions continue to surround the cases. The lack of resolution and the specter of fear still hang over the parish, a strong reminder of the vulnerability of the innocent and the challenges of solving complex and deeply troubling crimes. The Jeff Davis 8 cases remain a painful and frustrating chapter in the history of the community, with the hope that one day answers will be found and justice will be served for these victims who deserve to rest in peace. Manchester Pusher. The legend of the Manchester Pusher has gripped the city of Manchester with fear and speculation for years. This alleged serial killer is suspected of a sinister pattern of pushing victims into the city's canals, leading to a staggering tally of over 80 accidental deaths. The eerie factor in these deaths is that they've occurred in a similar manner, primarily in the city's waterways. However, despite the public's strong belief in the existence of a serial killer, official evidence remains elusive. Some alleged victims have been identified, but no convictions have been made, adding to the mystery surrounding the Manchester Pusher. The unresolved nature of these cases only deepens a sense of unease among the public. The police, however, deny the presence of a single serial killer, a position that contradicts the widespread belief that one perpetrator is responsible for the alarming number of canal deaths. The Manchester Pusher is a chilling enigma, with the people of Manchester torn between fear and skepticism. The lack of conclusive evidence has left this case in a state of uncertainty, and the public remains divided on whether a serial killer truly lurks in their midst. This legend serves as a haunting reminder of the power of urban legends and the enigmatic nature of unsolved mysteries, with the hope that one day the truth will come to light and the people of Manchester will find the answers they seek. Eastbound Strangler. The Eastbound Strangler is a haunting and unsolved mystery that has left a cloud of fear and uncertainty hanging over the area near Atlantic City, New Jersey. In 2006, 4 women, all of whom were street workers, were discovered dead under suspicious circumstances, and the circumstances of their deaths were chilling. These women, living on the margins of society, were victims of a gruesome fate. Their bodies were found placed face down in a row, suggesting a cold and calculated killer who showed no mercy. The similarities in the placement of the bodies sent shivers down the spines of local residents and law enforcement officials alike. Despite ongoing investigations and suspicions, the Eastbound Strangler case remains unsolved. This unsettling mystery has left families without closure and a community on edge. The fear that the perpetrator is still at large haunts the region. Over the years, several suspects have come under scrutiny, but the lack of DNA matches has frustrated attempts to bring the perpetrator to justice. The elusive nature of the Eastbound Strangler has only added to the despair and frustration felt by those affected by these tragic deaths. The authorities have not given up the search for answers, and a $25,000 reward for information has been offered in hopes of cracking this case. Yet, as of now, it remains a cold case, and the truth behind the Eastbound Strangler remains hidden. The Eastbound Strangler case is a stark reminder of the dangers that persist in society, particularly for those who are vulnerable and marginalized. The victims of these crimes, their families, and the community at large deserve answers and justice. This haunting mystery serves as a somber reminder of the work that remains to be done in solving these crimes and bringing closure to those who have been left in the dark. The Eastbound Strangler case serves as a disturbing reminder of the challenges that law enforcement faces when dealing with cases involving marginalized and at-risk individuals. These women were vulnerable and targeted, making it even more crucial to bring their perpetrator to justice. The unsolved nature of this case raises questions about the effectiveness of investigations and the resources available to solve complex cases. The Eastbound Strangler case is a haunting and unsettling mystery that has left a community in fear and uncertainty. The fact that these women were street workers, already living on the margins of society, makes their deaths even more tragic and poignant. The placement of their bodies and the lack of DNA matches only add to the chilling nature of this case. The authorities have not given up, and a reward for information has been offered, but, as of now, this remains an unsolved cold case. The victims and their families deserve justice, and the Eastbound Strangler is a stark reminder of the work that remains to be done in solving these crimes and bringing closure to those who have been left in the dark. The Rainbow Maniac. The Rainbow Maniac, a shadowy and menacing presence, is believed to be responsible for the deaths of 13 gay men in Patrias Park, Brazil. These chilling crimes have cast a long and dark shadow over the LGBTQ+ community and the entire nation. The modus operandi of the Rainbow Maniac was grim and cold-blooded. Most of the victims fell to the deadly force of a firearm, a means of violence that adds an eerie layer of fear to the already terrifying nature of these crimes. These individuals, targeted because of their sexual orientation, met a gruesome end in a place that should have been a sanctuary for their community. One disturbing aspect of this case is the suspicion that a state police officer may be involved. The presence of someone in a position of authority adds an unsettling dimension to the crimes, as the very people meant to protect and serve the community are suspected of being linked to the horrors of the Rainbow Maniac. The first signs of these crimes emerged in 2007, and they continued until 2009, leaving a legacy of fear and pain. Despite extensive investigations and attempts to identify the perpetrator, no new leads have come to light. The cases remain unsolved, a troubling testament to the complexities and challenges of bringing the Rainbow Maniac to justice. The belief is strong that the killer is still at large, a haunting specter that continues to cast a pall over Patrias Park and the LGBTQ+ community in Brazil. The victims, who should be remembered for their vibrant lives and contributions to society, have instead become symbols of a struggle for justice and a stark reminder of the threats faced by those who live openly as members of the LGBTQ+ community. In a nation that should celebrate diversity and inclusivity, the Rainbow Maniac case serves as a somber reflection of the long road ahead toward justice and equality. The hope endures that one day these victims will receive the justice they deserve, and the killer will be brought to account for these heinous crimes, allowing the LGBTQ+ community to find solace and closure in the face of this disturbing chapter in their history. These cases are some of the most chilling and perplexing in history. Please subscribe to our channel for more mystery content, and leave a comment below letting us know which serial case you find the most fascinating. And please, never forget that serial killers are real. They're out there, and they could be anyone.